In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about some simple types of market failure. Up to this point, we've been talking about the wonders of perfect competition and how perfectly competitive markets achieve allocative efficiency. In the next several videos, we're going to talk about what happens when that doesn't occur. But first, let's review why perfectly competitive markets under ideal conditions result in allocative efficiency. In competitive markets, it's assumed that all the costs and benefits are borne by participants in the market. And if all costs are borne by the seller, then the social marginal cost should equal the private marginal cost. Just to review a little bit, remember we showed that the portion of the marginal cost curve that lies above the average variable cost curve is the short-run supply curve for a firm in a perfectly competitive market. The market supply curve is nothing more than the sum of those supply curves. So at any given level of output, it tells us what the marginal cost of producing that additional unit of output is for whatever firm happens to be producing it. And if all the costs are borne by the seller, the cost to society is just equal to the cost to the firm, because all the costs of production in that case would be borne by the seller of the good. Similarly, if all the benefits are received by the buyer, then the social marginal benefit should just equal the private marginal benefit. More specifically, we can note that the demand curve can be thought of as representing either the quantity demanded at each price, or we can think of it as representing the amount that someone is willing to pay for an additional unit of output. In other words, we can think of the demand curves as reflecting the private marginal benefit. But if all the benefits are captured by the person that consumes the good, that's also equal to the social marginal benefit. Now, at the competitive equilibrium depicted here, social marginal cost equals social marginal benefit, again, assuming that all the costs and benefits are captured by market participants. And we know that when social marginal benefit equals social marginal cost, society's net benefit is maximized. That's why competitive markets result in allocative efficiency. One way in which we can have market failure is if some of the costs or the benefits are either borne by or received by people not directly involved in the transaction, who are not making these decisions. Because in those cases, the private and social costs and benefits differ from each other, and the decisions that are optimal for individuals will not, in general, be optimal for society as a whole, because we assume that people choose actions that are optimal for them, which are not necessarily going to be optimal for society as a whole.